Morning from Wisconsin. Nice. Anybody in any positions right now you want me to take a quick look at since we have maybe 5 minutes of extra time? Not something you're thinking about getting in. I don't have time for bullshit. Exactly what I asked you. Are you in a position you want me to take a look at? Got like 4 minutes where I can do that. Oh, we could start with Tesla, for example. Oh, MUSA. Okay, great. So that's greatly tied to oil and the way oil's moving around. So we can go look at oil, for example, and we can see that it has broken trend line. This one. It has broken that trend line in every way imaginable. It's definitely not an uptrend oil. Say that's definitely not an uptrend, but it could be in a sideways trend. So it might not be in a downtrend, but it might be in a sideways trend. But it's possible that it's in a downtrend. So MUSA is in the same boat there. I think you got to be careful with it. Should have been cut. We talked about this last night in class. Cut right here days ago when it broke the low. So that's not necessarily one to hold, but luckily from the point in which you cut, it's really close by right now, but it's definitely on the not want to be in it side of things. All right, next ticker. Okay, that by the way, it's okay that it depends on how you're trading this, because for example, let's say you got in. Um, Typically, you could put your stop at the low of the day or the previous day's low, but it's even possible to put it at the last pivot low right down there. And in such a case, you'd still be in this trade. A lot of buffer room for your stop. Okay, Camille Ford. If Ford breaks below 1090, right, go as low as 1030. Let's see. Yeah, 1037. And then possibly back down to 955. Yes. All right. Any other tickers? I'll give you 10 seconds. All right. Let's get into the market. All right, like I said, gold spike a few minutes ago from 1785 to almost 1800, so about $15 spike. That's a pretty decent spike. Um, Not sure what happened there. Could have been somehow supply related. Like I suppose, like if a mine collapsed, it could change the supply in a negative manner. It could, uh, like compared to demand. I don't know, something like that could happen. I'm not really. There was no economic news suddenly moving to gold. So high stage. Also, we have rates at 2.875%. That's really great for growth. So cost of borrowing money is gone down on them, and their variable rates gone down. So growth companies still able to tap in. Not a good idea right now in a economic downturn and recession, but nonetheless, it could be a green day for growth today based on that. The VIX is at 28.5, still very elevated. Hard to hold anything overnight, let alone for swings. Nothing's really set up right now, so almost all swing trades simply aren't any because setups aren't there. That's saying something about the market too. It's in a very weak spot, and it's right in the middle of this sort of bounce range that it was in on the low end of the range. Bit negative outlook today with a little bit of green from growth. Could be mixed. It could be a mixed day. A little bit of rotation might be grinding up in growth and some grinding down in value, or perhaps I just feel it might be a light day though. Also fueled by the fact that it's Friday and going into a 3-day weekend. So we'll see. We'll see how the day trades, but I believe that is probably going to be the case. Light day in the middle of a range, no direction certifiable. So there's not really a lot of risk that you can take because the reward is so uncertain. You need unlikely risk and a highly likely reward, and it's just not set up for that. So that pushes us into perhaps some day trade momentum picks, some penny stocks. We've got AKBA, QNRX, MOHO, VRME, and ALNA, and I think that QNRX is the only one of those. And it's a bit rough. That's a good word for it. QNRX. So you got to be a little bit careful, be a little bit more forgiving, give it some room, give it some play, have a wider risk you get in for, maybe 20 cents of risk instead of maybe 5 or 10. Maybe go for 20 cents of risk on QNRX. I'll pull it up in the high speed over here so I can really get a feel for it. So far, it feels kind of light volume. But okay, we've got 4.5 minutes until the market opens. And we'll see where this thing goes. I wouldn't guess on any kind of direction the market's going to take until at least 5 minutes has traded. And then maybe you can ascertain some intermediate or morning direction from the way that it breaks the opening range. You can also use a 10-minute opening range to get a better sense of more confirmation on direction. Some days are just choppy though, and it's quite possible today's going to be a choppy day. All right, we've got 3 minutes, 30 seconds till the market opens. If there's anything else anybody wants me to take a look at as far as for the day trade right off the open here, no. Mike and Mike. Gregory, are you Greg with the 2 G's in the group? I saw you post something. I wanted to go back on it, try and find it. Can't find it. QNRX entry at 0.86. Maybe 0.9. You know, I'd rather you don't even mess around with it unless it passes 0.9. Okay, Greg. Greg, you don't have to do direct messages unless you're saying something, you know. I tend to ignore that when I see the direct messages like that because it puts all the extra information on there. Make it to everybody. Talk publicly amongst ourselves. Yeah, you know, Carl, yeah, I would be very less eager to get into anything and not be trying to get in at the tiny pivot break on something like QNRX here. You definitely want to get more confirmation. I would say 0.89, but like you might as well wait for it to blast through 0.9. If it's not going to blast through 0.9, if you can't get through it, yeah, it's not worth the risk. At that point, maybe use 20 cents a risk as your guide. Nice wide risk because it's pretty rough looking. Okay, we got 47 seconds till the market opens. I do believe it's going to be a light volume day. What the first 5 minutes gives us here. All right, 25 seconds. Ten seconds. Here we go. And QNRX didn't pick up in volume on the open there very much. Very active, I would have to say. Okay, wait, hang on. We're starting to get some action on QNRX, hitting 0.85. 0.87, 0.88. Get over 9. 8.89. And now we're pulling back 0.86. On QNRX. MOHO ain't happening. VRME, nope. ALNA, you guys, ALNA is at breaking 0.3 right now. Might even be halted. Sure. ALNA. Nope, not halted. And pulling back to 7. You definitely want to set a really wide risk on that one. because of the math. Like dropping from 0.3 to 0.25, that's a big drop percentage-wise. The market itself, mixed, slightly down off the open. It does look like light volume. Let me see if I can get any kind of projection on it. Yeah, QNRX failing out miserably now, getting down to 0.81. So that's why you wait for 0.9. The break of 0.9, not just touching 0.9, but it needs to break or just about break. You don't want to. You don't want to trade something like that. You just see what just happened on QNRX. You don't want to be entering at 0.92 and then it does that again. That stales the ticker. ALNA, however, holding the upper 20 cents. Maybe you can break through 30 cents. Market now, moving up. It's just chopping. We do have some economic data coming, I think in an hour. Let me see. In 27 minutes, and some at in about 15 minutes as well. Purchasing Managers Index. They have to report. It's a report on how much purchasing managers at the businesses are, buying their materials in order to their products, and it's expected to be not a good report. That's coming at 9:45, and another one at 10. So we got that going for us, which is nice. All right, ALNA pulled back pretty hard. It even broke pivot for a second there. If it can recover fast, that'll be a good sign. If it can't, it's not a good sign. This is true, what this guy just said. If something happens in Taiwan, we are in trouble. And that is true. Very true. I mean, I think if anything happens in Taiwan, that's what could lead to a global war, not Ukraine. Computer chips are the new oil. Okay, ALNA recovering a little bit from that liquidity drop. Be a good sign. Yeah, this break over 0.28 is a good sign. Yeah, this is good stuff on ALNA. There we go, 0.29. Potentially going to break through 0.3 right now. There it is at 0.3. Get through 0.3. There we go. Yeah, it's almost out of shares at 0.3, so it's very weak and ready to crack, ready to pop. ALNA, ALNA. Time across the market, we've got no alerts. Setup's worthwhile. Hitting 0.29 on ALNA. Comes 0.3 again. Okay, it's picking up an activity there. That was selling activity. 0.28, 0.27. ALNA might not be happening. Not the best trading pattern I'm looking at. Okay, you'd like me to look at anything else swing trade wise or stock wise? Let me know. All right, ALNA coming back up, 0.29. Boy, it's this hard to get through 0.29. I don't know. Good to get through 0.3. Okay, we're at 0.3. Oh yeah, it's quite a bit of orders there, but I think they just were lifted. Okay, yep, we just touched 0.31 on ALNA. Doesn't seem to be lasting. Back at 0.3. Be pretty well supported in the buying I'm seeing right now. Overwhelming support at 0.3. Fairly firm still. And there's 0.31. .31 firming up. 0.314, 0.318. Get into the fractional aspects of the pennies now. 0.3197, 0.3199, 0.32. There we go. We're at 0.32 now on ALNA. 3. Meanwhile, the market totally perfectly sideways, not doing anything. I don't think anybody wants to make any big decisions. Wants to, make any big bets. 3-day weekend. That could change as the day goes on. It's interesting how opinions change in life. All right, we're hanging at 0.32 now on ALNA. ALNA coming hitting 3.1 now. 3. The bids have dropped to 3 cents, 30 cents. MOHO is trying to make a run for it now. MOHO. HO. If MOHO can get over 0.23 something, still need to put on about 5 cents of risk though, which is really big at that level. It's like a 20% to 25% risk. All right, the market's starting to rally actually right now. SPY. The key. This is what I was talking about rates being low. That could be good for the market broadly. It definitely looks like staples and defensives, utilities, healthcare, financials, industrials, moving up. Probably the strongest sector at this point, smooth action, is utilities. XLU. ALNA playing around with 0.33, teasing 0.33. Right at around 0.32. You can just feel it. This is just one of those days. It's a faguji. Yeah, projected volume, even this close to the open, is weak. Okay. Very weak. Now, very weak. So today's going to be a very light volume day. Moving into the weekend, it likely simply won't change much. No major market movement predicted for today. Ford broke yesterday's high, probably cut. Yeah, probably I would do that. Yeah. What we talked about last night. I'm not sure if you were there last night, but what we talked about last night about defending your positions in this type of market, right up to the previous day's high or low, depending on if you're short. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Only thing is just FYI. I mean, I still would get out, but FYI, Camille, just understand this is why I wouldn't be in anything too. We're at a point where in the market, in the pattern, on a Faguji day like today, it just means like prices should be bouncing all over the place. Not a good idea to risk on days like today, because if you're gonna have a high probability of your risk being hit and a low probability of your reward being hit, then you're basically just taking a low probability of making money and a high probability of losing money type of trade. Before every trade, think about that. What's the probability of the risk side and what's the probability of the reward side? And you want to see at least 2-to-1, if not 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 differential. I think George Soros made a lot of money. Always never got into a trade that was less than 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio. That's pretty crazy. A lot to learn there, because even myself, I'll take 2-to-1s, 3-to-1s, and 4-to-1s. And I've had periods where my cutoff was 4-to-1, but 5-to-1, that's some patience. That's waiting for some good setups. ALNA setting up nicely for a 0.33 break out. Okay, the first numbers should have just come out from the Purchasing Managers Index. and it was slightly better than expected. A smidgen better than expected. That's good. It wasn't worse. Wasn't worse than expected. And then there's some more numbers on that coming in about 12 or 13 minutes. But if that's any indication, then that's probably how the next numbers are going to come forward as well. Class last night was all about how to survive this bear market, which could last a while. Tips, tricks, and ideas. How to hedge your positions, how to defend your gains, how not to get into things, how to preserve your capital. The way this market's going, I'm probably going to bug out pretty soon here. So what are you guys' plans for the 4th of July weekend? I'm going to be going down to the lake, watching some fireworks over the lake here. What are you guys doing? Big ass boat party. Nice. You deserve it. Right. Yeah, Ford continuing to go up even higher from yesterday's high. Market broadly. When this happens, when the market is broadly moving, so every sector, every stock, industrials, growth, value, everything, when everything's moving up like that, tends to be a day that stays moving in that direction all day. Okay, good. Out of ALNA, okay. And tomorrow, then off for 4 days. Very nice. KCR, let's see. Yeah, pretty much no change on KZR. I don't know where you got in, but being in at 8. Right. Well, yeah, you can keep holding. I would sell a little bit underneath every 25-cent level from your profit, from your average cost. I would sell a little bit underneath every 25-cent level as long as it progresses. And then, of course, cut out completely if it were ever to come back to your break even. I'm just reading this little text from talking about Jesse Livermore, trader. That Livermore didn't think sideways markets gave any opportunities for profit as he looked for activity either on the upside or the downside. Being out of the market allows one to step away and refocus. and then enter again when better opportunities present themselves. This quiet time out of the market also gives traders time to do additional analysis of the market and price trend. Well said. So it looks like, it could be a grinding green day. Oh, there goes ALNA kind of breaking down right now. Good thing you got out. Grinding green day. And I will alert you guys in the group of anything that comes up, any trade opportunities. I've got everything on alert. And I'm double checking and triple checking every single opportunity to make sure that it's worthwhile. But in general, have a great 3-day holiday weekend, 4th of July. Have a happy 4th of July. Enjoy it. Enjoy your freedom. Celebrate. Go celebrate. Don't push any liberals into the river, okay? Happy 4th of July, everybody. I'll see you guys on Tuesday morning, but I'll see you in the group in a moment here. Okay, that's it for the morning session. And this market is going to be light today, I believe.